Easy from Kepagelli, out wide Cassiano and John. Now Gout starts to stretch away, and stretch away he does, and he's done it. He's broken the 10 seconds again. Look for the wind, look for the wind.
When a 17-year-old kid breaks Usain Bolt's record, you know the world is watching. But what happens when the legend himself finally speaks up about it? That's exactly what went down when Australian sprinter Gout Gout ran 20.04 seconds in the 200 meters at his school championships. This wasn't just any fast time. Gout had just broken Bolt's under-17 record and become the fastest teenager in the world. He even beat a record that had stood in Australia since 1968, making him the fastest sprinter in all of Oceania. The athletics world went crazy. Social media exploded. Australian fans started talking about gold medals at the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. Everyone wanted to know what Bolt thought about this young kid breaking his record. Speaking to reporters in Tokyo before the World Championships, Bolt didn't just congratulate Gout and move on. Instead, he delivered a message that every young athlete needs to hear. Bolt said, "If he continues on this track, it's going to be good."
It's all about getting everything right. You know what I mean? It's never just easy. It's always easier when you're younger, because I was there. I used to do great things when I was young, but the transition to senior from junior is always tough.
This wasn't Bolt being negative. This was the voice of experience talking. The man who owns the 100-meter world record at 9.58 seconds knows exactly what Gout is about to face, and he wants to prepare him for it. See, people forget that Bolt himself was once a teenage sensation. At just 15 years old, he won the 2002 World Junior Championships, running 20.61 seconds in the 200 meters. He dominated the youth circuit and looked unstoppable. But here's the thing that most people don't know. Bolt didn't become the global superstar we remember until he was 22 years old. That's when he broke the 100-meter world record twice and won the sprint double at the Beijing Olympics in 2008. Even the greatest sprinter of all time had to wait and work for his breakthrough moment. This advice comes at the perfect time for Gout. The young Australian is about to make his World Championships debut in Tokyo, running the 200 meters on September 19th. He'll be facing the best sprinters on the planet, including some serious competition that might shock you. The men's 200 meters isn't just about Gout anymore. There's a rivalry brewing that has the entire athletics world talking. Noah Lyles and Kenny Bednarek are about to renew their feud, and it's getting personal.
World champs this year, 17, you be the youngest ever one. Obviously, tough competition. How do you feel kind of going in there?
I'm trying to show you what's up, so I'm trying to come out that with a
That's what I love to hear.
So, whatever I gotta do to show no, I'm coming for that spot. So I need obviously it's a learning experience, but like deep down, you know, I'm trying to get a medal for sure, or even make that final. And
at the U.S. Championships last month, these two had a moment that changed everything. Lyles won the race, but as they crossed the finish line, he stared down Bednarek. Bednarek didn't appreciate it one bit. After the race was over, he gave Lyles a two-handed shove in the back. Bednarek was furious. "Unsportsmanlike behavior, and I don't deal with that," he said right after the race. "It's a respect factor. He's fresh. Last time we lined it up, I beat him. Next time we line up, I'm going to win." The tension is real. Lyles is the three-time defending world champion in the 200 meters, but Bednarek has beaten him at the last two Olympics in this event. They say they've talked things out behind closed doors, but you can feel the electricity when these two are mentioned in the same breath. And right in the middle of all this drama, Gout Gout will be trying to make his mark. He's currently seated 16th in the field, which means just making it to the semifinals would be a huge achievement. But some people think he can do more than that. Lachie Kennedy, another Australian sprinter who actually beat Gout earlier this year, has been watching him closely. "He looks hungry. He looks ready," Kennedy said. Normally in people's first majors, they can be a bit nervous, but I think he'll be more than ready for the moment. Even veteran commentator Bruce McAvaney thinks Gout could make it all the way to the final, but Bolt's warning reminds us that talent alone isn't enough at this level. The numbers back up Bolt's caution. Australia is sending 86 athletes to these World Championships, their biggest team ever. 21 of those athletes are actually ranked higher than Gout going into the competition. He might be the one everyone's talking about, but he's far from their best medal chance. That reality check is important because the expectations around Gout are already getting out of control. Australian media outlets are already talking about him winning gold at the 2032 Brisbane Olympics. That's 7 years away, and he's still just 17 years old. Bolt recognizes this talent, though. When asked directly about comparing Gout to his younger self, Bolt was clear. "Definitely, I think the talent that he's showing when I was young is the same thing," he said. And this is why I'm trying to advise him to be very careful in transition, because I had a tough time transitioning into the senior level. The key phrase there is tough time. Even Bolt, the man who would go on to become the fastest human in history, struggled when he moved up from junior competitions. He admits it openly. So finding the right people, finding the right coach that could transition into the senior level is key, Bolt continued. He has a great future. If he gets everything right, his future is going to be bright. Right now, Gout is working with Coach Diane Shepard, who focuses on creating the right environment for young athletes to develop. Gout has shown nothing but respect for Bolt, calling him both an inspiration and a benchmark for what he wants to achieve. But the path ahead is trickier than most people realize. Gout has already broken the 10-second barrier twice in the 100 meters, though both times were wind-assisted and don't count as official records. He's been hand-timed under 10 seconds at recent school events. The speed is clearly there. The question is whether he can handle everything else that comes with competing at the highest level. The pressure, the media attention, the physical demands of racing against men instead of teenagers, the mental game of championship racing. The athletics world is hungry for its next superstar. Bolt retired in 2017, and the sport has been looking for someone to capture the public imagination the way he did. Gout could be that person, but only if he navigates these next few years correctly. The World Championships in Tokyo will be Gout's first real test. He'll line up against Lyles, Bednarek, and Letsile Tebogo, the Olympic champion from Botswana who called Lyles arrogant after beating him in Paris. These are grown men who have been competing at this level for years. They won't be intimidated by a teenager with fast times from school meets, but that's exactly what makes this so interesting. Gout isn't just any teenager. His 20.04 seconds would have been fast enough to make the final at recent World Championships. The talent is undeniable. Bolt sees that talent and wants to protect it. He's very talented with the times he's running now, and he's really been doing well, Bolt said. That's something that you love to see because you want athletes to do well. The more athletes do well, the bigger the sport is. There's something beautiful about the sport's greatest champion wanting to see the next generation succeed. Bolt could have been territorial about his records. Instead, he's offering guidance to the young man who broke one of them. The advice is simple but powerful. Get the right people around you, stay focused, and remember that being fast as a teenager is just the beginning. The real work starts when you step up to face the world's best. On September 19th in Tokyo, we'll get our first look at how Gout handles that pressure. Bolt will be there, watching from the stands as he presents medals at the championships. The student and the teacher, separated by a generation but connected by speed and the pursuit of greatness. Sebastian Coe's latest comments about two rising stars, Keely Hodgkinson and Gout Gout, are sending shockwaves across the athletics world. Just before the World Championships in Tokyo, Coe delivered both praise and caution, and fans everywhere are hyped about what it means for the future of the sport. Sebastian Coe knows the 800 meters better than almost anyone alive. He held the world record in the event for 18 years and has seen generations of athletes come and go. But when he speaks about Keely Hodgkinson, the reigning Olympic champion at just 23, his admiration is clear. She absolutely could end her career as one of the greatest athletes of all time, Coe said, just days before the World Championships in Tokyo. I've spoken to her enough times to know that mentally she's mahogany hard. She is absolutely committed to wanting to end her career at the top, and there's no reason why she shouldn't. Coe praised her coaches, Trevor Painter and Jenny Meadows, for guiding her comeback after serious hamstring and back injuries. In August, Hodgkinson stunned the athletics world by returning after a 376-day absence and immediately running 1 minute 54 seconds in Silesia, followed by 1 minute 55 seconds in Lausanne only 4 days later. Coe summed it up simply. You have to marvel at how she has come back. To be out injured and then your first step back on the track, you're running 1 minute 54 seconds. He did, however, sound a note of caution. Returning from injury carries risks, and Ko noted how easy it is for athletes to push themselves beyond their true endurance. But Hodgkinson showed her resilience by racing twice in 4 days, proving she had the strength to handle the demands she will face in Tokyo. The answer was a resounding yes, Ko said. From one established star to one just beginning his journey, Ko also turned his attention to Australian sprint sensation Gout Gout. At just 17 years old, Gout has already run a wind-assisted 9.98 in the 100 meters and 19.84 in the 200 meters. His legal best of 20.02 places him among the top 20 sprinters in the world this season, despite being several years younger than most of his rivals. At 17, I was probably just about qualifying for the inner counties, Ko admitted with a laugh. He's an outstanding athlete. I was very privileged to have supper with him after the Diamond League in Monaco with his coach. A really, really good Australian coach. A female coach, Dee Shepherd too, which is always good. But Ko also emphasized that Gout's journey must be carefully managed. The biggest challenge is to take an athlete from his age through the next 3 or 4 years into the senior ranks safely, mentally in decent shape, and physically not badly damaged. He explained, "It's too early to expect medals. This will be a huge learning curve. Gout's rise has been meteoric. In 2024, he ran 20.04 to break the Oceanian record and Usain Bolt's under-16 world best. Earlier this year, at the Ostrava Golden Spike meet, he clocked 20.02, ranking 20th in the world in the 200 meters for 2025. His wind-assisted 19.84 at the Australian Championships would have placed him 8th globally if it were legal. What makes this even more impressive is that Gout is 3 years younger than anyone else in the world's top 20. Only 2 other athletes born in 2007 are in the top 100. Comparisons with Bolt are inevitable, and even Lightning himself has weighed in saying, "He looks like young me." The Australian media has embraced him as the future of sprinting. But is he truly ready to compete against the likes of Noah Lyles, Kenny Bednarek, and Brian Lavelle? Lyles' world lead of 19.63 is still nearly 4/10 faster than Gout's best. Bednarek, 19.67, and Lavelle, 19.69, are also comfortably ahead. That gap may make a podium finish unlikely, but experts believe Gout could reach the final in Tokyo. For a 17-year-old, that alone would be an extraordinary achievement. It isn't just Ko who has weighed in. Botswana's Letsile Tebogo, the reigning Olympic 200-meter champion, believes Gout has what it takes to make history. "He can be one of the best," Tebogo said. "He could be in the history books if he continues with the hunger that he has right now." But he also urged patience. Don't let him stay too much on the seniors, because everybody is watching. Slowly, but surely, he will get there. Former Australian champion Matt Shervington has gone even further, predicting, "He will be the greatest athlete we have ever produced in this country, hands down." Ko, for his part, echoed Tebogo's warning. "We have to be realistic," he said. "The vast majority of people who win World Junior titles don't go on to compete for their national team at senior level. This is a rare and precious talent that will need nurturing and protecting. One quality that may separate Gout from other young prodigies is his emotional intelligence. His coach, Dee Shepherd, has highlighted his ability to stay composed under pressure. You know yourself how hard that is as an adult, let alone as a kid," she said. He has a massive ability to be able to do that. That mental strength will be tested in Tokyo, where he'll face senior competition on a global stage for the first time. The weight of expectations from fans, media, and even legends like Bolt and Ko could be overwhelming. But Gout appears ready to handle it with maturity. History is filled with teenage sensations who lit up the track at a young age. Allyson Felix won the 200-meter world title at just 19 in 2005. Ariane Knighton, another teenage prodigy, competed in the Tokyo 2020 Olympics at 17. Finishing 4th in the 200-meter final with a time of 19.93. More recently, Quincy Wilson became the USA's youngest ever male track Olympian at Paris, 2024, earning a gold medal in the 4x400-meter relay heats. On the other hand, many teenage talents have needed more time to blossom. Even Usain Bolt, the ultimate benchmark, didn't win his first senior world medal until age 20, when he took silver in the 200 meters at the 2007 World Championships in Osaka. The message is clear. Prodigies can succeed early, but sometimes greatness takes patience. For Gout, time is on his side. With LA 2028 and Brisbane 2032 on the horizon, he has 2 Olympic cycles to develop fully. The Brisbane Games, in particular, could offer him a historic moment, competing for gold on home soil as a mature sprinter in his mid-20s. In the meantime, Tokyo will be a test. Ko and others have made it clear, no one should demand medals from Gout just yet. The real victory will be gaining experience, learning from mistakes, and understanding what it takes to compete against the very best. Sebastian Coe's comments about Keely Hodgkinson and Gout Gout reveal 2 sides of athletics. On one hand, Hodgkinson is already a proven champion with the mental strength and resilience to be remembered as one of the all-time greats. On the other, Gout is the exciting new talent whose future shines bright, but whose journey must be managed with care. Both athletes inspire in different ways. Hodgkinson, through her toughness and comeback from injury. Gout, through his precocious speed and composure beyond his years. And through it all, Coe's message is consistent. Talent alone is not enough. Smart growth, patience, and resilience are what turn potential into greatness. Whether it's Hodgkinson chasing history or Gout beginning his path, one thing is clear. The future of athletics is in strong hands, and with voices like Ko guiding the way, the sport has every chance of producing legends who will inspire generations to come.
Shelley and Fraser-Price, as you would expect. Hobbs of New Zealand on the outside. Now comes the American Hobbs. Aaliyah Hobbs is right there. She goes through.
When you see a 38-year-old mother outrunning college athletes and Olympic champions, you might think it's some kind of magic trick. But Shelly-Ann Fraser-Price is very real, and she's about to compete in her final race. The Jamaican sprinter known as the Pocket Rocket stands just 5 feet tall, but she's created one of the biggest legacies in track and field history. With 3 Olympic gold medals and 10 World Championship titles under her belt, Fraser-Price has been dominating the 100-meter dash for nearly 2 decades. Now, at an age when most sprinters have long since retired, she's preparing for one last hurrah at the 2025 World Championships in Tokyo. But this final chapter almost never happened. Last year's Paris Olympics were supposed to be her grand finale, her perfect goodbye to the sport that made her famous. Instead, it turned into her worst nightmare. On the day of the 100-meter final, Fraser-Price arrived at the stadium ready to race.
I don't really care for the opinions of others because I find that even when I had my son, when there were a lot of persons who thought that, having a baby and coming back was not going to be good, or turning 30 and then 35 and,
She'd been using the same entrance gate throughout the entire Olympics without any problems. But on the most important day of her games, security suddenly denied her entry. She wasn't alone. Other top sprinters, including America's Sha'Carri Richardson, faced the same issue. For 30 agonizing minutes, Fraser-Price stood outside the stadium arguing with officials. She watched as busloads of other athletes passed by, witnessing her humiliation. When she finally made it to the warm-up track, a full hour behind schedule, nothing felt right anymore. Sprinters are creatures of habit, and her routine had been completely destroyed. Fraser-Price later revealed what happened next changed everything. For the first time in her entire career, she had a panic attack. The woman who had overcome injuries, setbacks, and every challenge the sport could throw at her simply couldn't make it to the starting line. She withdrew from the semifinal, officially due to an injury sustained during warm-up, but the real damage was mental. Fraser-Price said this to reporters, "I didn't get the opportunity to do what I know I could have done in that moment, and it was hurtful. It was the first time in my entire career that I've never been able to step to a line to compete." That devastating experience in Paris could have been the end of her story,